in particular, I'd love to hear about that in the chat. So for people who watch this later, I'm just first taking a little time to get to know our participants and why they're here and what they want to learn. So Tracy says she's a beginner. Thank you, Tracy. I realized just now I meant to change one of the slides to make it more about mold. So when I get there, I'll talk a little bit about mold. So I realize some of you may be on here because of mold toxicity, but anyone else, are you treating anything in particular or just kind of curious about how to detox with essential oils? And again, the chat button is on the lower right of your desktop computer. And then on a phone, it's a little tricky. You have to go to like participants and then chat. So if you're on the phone, you might be like just trying to figure out how to even chat. Roxana says she has an account. She loves using essential oils and she's got some hormonal complaints. Okay. Kimberly is dealing with chronic Lyme. Okay, I should talk a little bit more about infections then, and you have some elevated liver enzymes. Okay. So this is super helpful for me because when I'm writing this, I don't really know what people are coming for. So this will help me for next time as well, know what people are dealing with. But we can also take more questions at the end. Again, when I'm doing the slides, I may stop a time or two to check on questions, but it's hard for me to see the comments when I'm doing the slide presentation. Anyone else want to share? Awesome. So yeah, usually there's a bit of a range of people who are just starting out to people who are already using them. So I try to kind of include everyone, and hopefully even if you're an experienced oil user, there'll be some things you pick up on that you haven't learned before, even if I go over kind of the introductory stuff. All right, let me share my screen. Oops. Shared the wrong screen. Da, da, da. Whoops. I'm going to go to slide 1, not slide 48. Okay. So this is us. We're here for best oils, essential oils for liver detox, but also really any kind of detox. And this is me. My name is Bridget Danner. I started my natural medicine career as an acupuncturist working in Portland, Oregon. And then I went on to become a functional health coach and have my own detox journey and an essential oils journey. So I wanted to kind of share my essential oils journey and give a little teaching about oils as we do it. So I started my career as an acupuncturist in 2004, and I really was eager to make sure my clients got a great experience, right? I was being paid to do something for the very first time, and I really wanted them to have a full sensory experience. So I would usually do, along with acupuncture, I would do some massage or some cupping or some heat, and I would often do essential oils. And I didn't know a ton about them. I just knew a little bit. I would just, get books from the library and learn. And the oil that I used the most was basil. So it was sort of a joke where I worked, and there was a cafe and where I worked, and I would always smell like basil oil, and they would be like, "Oh, are you massaging people again?" So basil oil is a muscle relaxant, and it's not a super well-known oil, but it's people loved it, and they would always ask me about it. It kind of smells like licorice. They would be curious about it. And that oil is also in a doTERRA blend called Aroma Touch that's good for massage. So it's actually a free oil of the month to this month that we'll talk about in a minute. So that's kind of an oil that I started out with in life, so to speak. And some years later, I had a second clinic. I was running an integrative clinic in Portland, Oregon, and one of my clients was getting into doTERRA, and she really loved it. She said it was helping her a lot with her hormones and her moods, and she had some like ADD that it was helping her with. And she was really excited, and she just was like, do you want to try them? And I was like, okay. So these were the first 2 oils I purchased from doTERRA. I purchased them from her, and I guess I must have told her I was dealing with stress or not sleeping well or my own hormonal issues, and I started with these 2 oils. Serenity, we're going to talk about both of these oils later today. Serenity is a sleep blend primarily, but also treats anxiety. Balance is a great kind of calming and grounding blend. And I remember still smelling those for the first time and like how potent they were. And, you know, it's still like when you're new to the world of doTERRA, you still don't fully understand the impact of these oils, but you've got to have them to experience them. And these were the first couple I experienced with doTERRA. So a little while later, I met a friend, Dr. Marisa Snyder, who was really into essential oils. That's for basically her whole business. She was a functional chiropractor, but basically her whole business is essential oils now. And I bought a kit of essential oils from her. So I bought like a starter kit plus some extra oils for my hormones, and just started using oils for, just started using them. And then very soon after I purchased them from her, I got really sick. So I was really sick with like a respiratory thing. I turned out to have strep throat. I didn't really recover from it. I was tired all the time. And I was already eating super well and going to bed on time and cooking all my own food. And it just like something wasn't adding up. So eventually we found out we had toxic mold in our home. And it was a lot to deal with. I was really busy with my career. I was really sick. We had to remodel our whole home and move out. But something I had to get me through that time was my essential oils. And I wasn't studying them. I didn't have the time, but I had them and I could read the bottle and, just kind of smell them. You start to intuit what they're helpful for as you use them as well. So here are a couple I used a lot in my own detox journey. So one was Breathe, which is a pretty common blend of theirs. People use it during like cold and flu season for congestion. But when you're toxic, you can often have a lot of histamine and be congested. So I use the Breathe oil for myself. And then the Citrus Bliss oil was an oil I had, and it's just a citrus blend with some vanilla. It's really nice. It's kind of for mood. But I didn't even know that citruses would move lymph, but I somehow like intuitively knew it. And I would put it on my neck because I had a lot of lymph congestion in there. So that was when I really started to see these oils as being helpful. They weren't, I still had to move out of my home. There was still a lot that had to happen. But they just definitely helped get me through the day in different ways. So today we're going to talk about symptoms of the toxicity, how you may know you're toxic, different causes of it, how essential oils work. I think that's really helpful to understand how they operate and, how they become effective. Otherwise, they just seem like, some gimmicky thing. How to use them safely, we always have to cover that. We're going to go over 10 oils, and then we're going to give you some options to get started with oils if you do not have an account. Some of you already have a doTERRA account, in which case anything we learned today, you can just go buy in your own account, right? Log in and purchase it. So usually on a webinar, we kind of give some special offers for people who are just starting out. But if you already have a doTERRA account, there's always also offers going on every month. There's always specials with doTERRA. Just as a little preview of coming attractions, these are the 3 free oils that are available from doTERRA this month, whether you're a new customer or returning. So we'll talk about those. And we'll also do this bonus for the first 10 orders, which is a weight loss oil. Okay, so getting into it, symptoms of toxicity. Well, really, there's so many, right? This isn't even a complete list, but some people will have skin issues, more rashes, more breakouts. A pretty common one is confused thinking or poor recall of, trying to remember a concept or a phone number or a word. Fatigue is super, super common. It could be just all day kind of bone crushing fatigue like I had with the mold toxicity, or it could be more like up and down, tired and wired type of fatigue. Could be morning fatigue, trouble getting out of bed, definitely insomnia as well. Indigestion. So for example, with mold, when you have that immune compromise and that chronic inflammation, you're also going to tend to have leaky gut and just be more susceptible there, have candida, hormonal imbalance. Yeah, again, sometimes we just think, well, my hormones are just off and maybe it's stress. I thought that for many years, and I was living in a moldy house and I just couldn't get my hormones right. But when you have something like a toxin that's inflaming your body and disrupting communication between cells, any number of systems could be thrown off. Headaches, common as well, mood issues, anywhere from really severe mood issues that require, they're really debilitating to just kind of moodiness and mood swings. So we had someone mention earlier they're dealing with Lyme disease, and that's an infection that creates its own immune challenge and its own waste products too. So the waste products of internal infections can cause symptoms of toxicity. So causes of toxicity can be from chemicals in the environment. We're all exposed to them no matter our best efforts. I just had 2 clients in a row who have diabetes or pre-diabetes, even though they're doing so many things right, eating right and taking supplements. And why is that? Well, one of it can be chemicals can disrupt the communication between your cells and create insulin resistance. So that can be a major factor in inability to lose weight. And I know that's something we're going to cover a little bit on this talk as well. Heavy metals can disrupt mineral balance in your body, and again, cellular function and creation of enzymes in your body. Toxic mold we've already talked about. We talked a little bit about Lyme disease, but there's lots of infections that can create toxic waste products in your body. Processed foods and foods with additives, I think can cause toxicity. Pesticides, we talked a lot about glyphosate recently on our Detox Summit. And over-the-counter and prescription medications have their own toxicity with side effects, and the ingredients and can strip you of nutrients, and electromagnetic frequencies can also be a cause of toxicity. Probably more than this list, but this is a start. So how essential oils work? So they are made from plants, different parts of the plant, bark, what have you, and they are distilled from a really large amount of plant matter often, and then the aromatic compounds are kind of extracted after this distillation process. So the compounds that come out of it are just a part of the plant, but they're a very concentrated part, so they can be 50 to 70 times more powerful than dried herbs. So like a drop of peppermint equals like 45 cups of peppermint tea or something like that. They have a lot of different constituents. We're going to talk about just one of them today, just to give you an idea of how they work in the body. And they're adaptogenic, so they help us adapt to challenges. So you may have heard of adaptogenic herbs. Because a lot of people say, well, can I use essential oils like too much, or will they stop working? Do they have hormones in them? And that's really not how they work. They more help direct the body towards balance, so they can kind of read a situation, so to speak, and give your body what it needs. So we're not talking about hormones as much today, but a lot of people say, well, I need something to lower estrogen, or I need this to raise progesterone. It's not really how essential oils operate. They're more of a balancer. So in our kind of linear mind, we may think, well, I need more of this and less of this, but they just kind of go in and regulate. So you can use the same essential oil to lower estrogen or increase progesterone sometimes. So you do not develop a resistance to them. And you go back so far. And there's a lot of research done on them. I just read this quote in a book, 3,000 peer-reviewed studies. There could be even more than that at this point. So I thought we'd just talk about just one constituent group of essential oils, just to give you a better understanding of how they all work. So one of these constituents is called monoterpenes, and monoterpenes include limonene, which is in things like citrus oil, but it's in a lot of the detox oils. So I thought it'd be worth getting to know the monoterpenes. So monoterpenes, I have some notes, but I can't see them now that my things are full out. But it's basically talking about the carbon structure of the compound. And these all have a similar carbon structure, but then they kind of branch into different, like the limonene and this kind of a thing. But so monoterpene is one category of essential oil constituents. And not only do they have a similar structure, but they'll have a similar property when they interact with your body. So monoterpenes are just detoxifying, anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, sedative, mood enhancing, insecticidal, keeps insects away, anti-tumor. So many of them are used for cancers. They support cellular health and cognitive health. Here's a little image, it's a little fuzzy, of when you take in a smell, what is actually happening in the body. So when you smell something, it's a very quick reaction, right? And maybe you've smelled something before, like if you smell chocolate chip cookies, it reminds you of your grandmother, or you smell lemon and it reminds you of like cleaning products you had to use when you were a kid. So you can get a pretty quick reaction because that smell is going from the olfactory system right into the limbic system of the brain. And that limbic system really helps control emotional reactions, which really affect our physical health, right? So if we get some aromatics, into us that help us ground, and that affects the limbic system really quickly, it can lower cortisol really quickly, which is one of the things we're going to talk about today. It also can absorb into the bloodstream when you use it on your skin, or even as you inhale it into your lungs. So it kind of works on the body on a lot of different levels, but it kind of works from the brain down and also in the cellular level. This chart is about the emotional oils, but I thought it was a pretty cool chart to just give you a sense of how the different scents interact. So motivate, the oil up on the top here, is actually one we are going to talk about today. And it has some mints and some citrus in it both. And so it's you can see from the mints, it can kind of ease anxiety. For the citruses, can ease a low mood. So motivate oil, it does what it says. It's very motivating. It's uplifting. It kind of gets you moving, makes you feel a little more content and happy. But also these oils on a physical plane help stimulate neural activity and kind of stimulate the brain function. So often when we've been exposed to toxins, our brain function is lacking. So I included Motivate oil today as a tool you can use to just to help improve short-term memory, improve brain function. Also, when you're in that afternoon slump, is that when I often use Motivate, when I just sort of need a little more energy, or when I have to get into a long task that I'm not really looking forward to. So, and when you're at home, you can, as you start to do more with essential oils, you can think about pairing these different groups. This chart is more about emotions, but you can also think about, for instance, like tree oils are usually pretty grounding. Florals are more like hormonal. So, and they have the scent profiles kind of pair well, some more than others. So for instance, I think it's great to pair like a citrus with a spice. It's kind of warming and also uplifting. So this is just baby steps if you're just getting to know oils, but as you get to know the different categories of scents, it helps you make your own blends at home, whether it's for a diffuser or for a blend to use topically on your skin. So 3 ways to use them. Again, aromatically is very powerful. So you can smell it right out of the bottle. You can put it on your wrist and smell it. You can diffuse it. You can put it on a tissue on your pillow. Topically is probably the way I use it the most, because then you're still getting the aromatic benefit, and then you can use it locally on things like your ovaries or your digestive tract. A lot will, 60% will absorb through your skin. Internally, there is some limited use on what you can use internally, either in a capsule, in a drink, or just straight in your mouth. If you use doTERRA oils, you can see that some of them have a supplement label. And if they have a supplement label, that means it can be taken internally like a supplement. If it does not have a supplement label, it's not meant to be taken internally. So all doTERRA oils are of the quality that they could be ingested, but not every oil is like meant for ingesting. I'm pretty conservative on ingesting. I don't put a lot of oils into my mouth unless I'm using them orally or like using them for digestion or something like that. But some people use them in capsules, as you can see here, and doTERRA does sell some capsules as well. We're talking about weight loss a bit today. You can make your own blends for weight loss. There's been some popular ones have gone around on the internet this year about some weight loss blends, and those blends are often just helping reduce inflammation in the digestive tract. So when that's working better, then weight is managed better. So I know a lot of what people wonder about is, well, how do I go about using oils? And there's just so many ways. So I thought I'd give some examples. If you are familiar with doing a castor oil pack, you can do a castor oil pack and use a couple drops of oil with the castor oil, and then it'll absorb into you. You can also, I don't think I have this on here, but just do like a hot compress. So if you don't want to deal with the castor oil, you just rub some carrier oil and Digestin or Zendicrin on your belly, and then put on like a hot washcloth, and that's a really nice relaxing thing to do. If you use a sauna, it's probably especially your own because you don't want to stink up a public sauna, but you could use the Zendicrin blend that we're going to learn about on your feet before you go in the sauna. Similar on the soles of your feet, at bedtime I like to use an oil called DDR Prime. I really love that one at bedtime. It's one of my favorite oils in general. So that's one way. You can, a lot of people use lemon oil and water for, reducing cravings and tonifying the liver. I don't tend to use it straight in water, but I'll use it in different drinks. We have some of those on our blog. You can use it in a diffuser. Using it in a diffuser can help with mood, with food cravings, alertness, cleaning the air, certainly, and like if someone's been sick around the house, or just kind of keeping your house, low on germs. And then again, you can use some just right on your tongue, or you can use it on your belly for like a local treatment for indigestion or hormone treatment, liver treatment, that kind of a thing. Okay, let me make sure I didn't skip any slides because I feel like it's going a bit wonky. Yeah, we sure did. Okay, so safety, whoops, skipped a couple slides. Okay, so we talked about it only used internally if it has that supplement label. And you really want to make sure an oil is organic, or in doTERRA's world, we call it certified pure therapeutic grade. So I wish doTERRA had the simpler label of organic, but doTERRA harvests oils from the wild and all over the world. So they're not grown on a FDA approved farm. So it's just a different situation, but they do third-party test their oils. And even more than like having pesticide residue, what's more common is having adulterations in the oil. So many commercial oils, they can add these compounds like I talked about earlier, like the limonene. They can add that to like kind of, I don't know, increase the smell or the efficacy of the oil, but it actually doesn't increase the efficacy, because it's just like eating a whole food versus a processed food. Your body recognizes the whole food and can assimilate it. And in the same with the oil, like if an oil comes to you adulterated because it got some components added to it, it's not going to work the same on a cellular level. So especially if you're going to use something internally or use it for health, you want to make sure that it's pure oil. And that's like actually the biggest thing in the essential oil world, is an oil not being what it says it was, or being adulterated. A couple more safety tips. If an oil is hot or cool, you do need to dilute it with the carrier oil. doTERRA makes a fractionated coconut oil, or I also like grapeseed oil. Or if you can just use straight coconut oil or olive oil even. But there aren't that many hot or cool oils. There's like 8 or 10. But it's important to learn which ones those are and dilute them, or you're going to have a burning feeling on your skin. It's not going to last, but just so you know. Kids are more sensitive, so you're never going to use oils directly on like tiny babies. And then for kids, you just always want to dilute oils of any kind of oil. My son is 10, and sometimes I put oil straight on him, but I definitely would not put a hot oil straight on him. And you can just look up on Google dilution charts for kids, essential oils, something like that, and you'll see that chart. I better stick to this so I don't miss any of my slides. So here's the oils we're going to discuss today. I meant to add one more for mold, so when I get to the bonus slide, I'll talk a little bit about mold. And it's not easy to pick a top 10 list, right? We could maybe swap these out. I ended up having grapefruit make the list, but not lemon, just because they're kind of similar, and grapefruit can help more with like lymph and weight loss and stuff, so I included that. But lemon is certainly a great oil. There's some oils that are in these blends that I didn't list here. So if you're like, why isn't there something there? I could have picked 100, but we just starting with 10. So first one I'm going to start with is turmeric. Turmeric is an oil that just came out with doTERRA in the past year. And turmeric in this form is very bioavailable to your cells. So it's pretty cool. This is one that I think you can use internally in a capsule. Some people do that, or you can put it on your belly or tap it right onto your tongue. It supports glutathione production, which is that master antioxidant that very important for detoxification. Probably one of the maybe the most important thing for detoxification. It's very anti-inflammatory. It is helpful for gut health and microbiome balance. You can use it on your skin, and it helps for brain health as well. So here's a couple ways to use it. For some of these oils, I give recommended use. Some I don't. But yeah, this is a good kind of oil to pair with other oils. I think you guys probably know about turmeric from other sources, so I won't go into it too deeply, but just to say it's pretty cool as an essential oil. And here's this oil, Motivate, that I mentioned earlier. I see my text got a little bit cut off here. This is a tinier oil, and it also comes in a roller ball because it's kind of a specialty oil for doTERRA. Some of the oils in here they don't sell on their own, like this yuzu peel. But it's got rosemary, which is really great for brain health and memory. It's also good for liver and digestive health. But then it's got things like the peppermint and the clementine that are stimulating. And again, just like when you're dealing with toxicity, you're probably dealing with some depression, lack of motivation, poor recall, and this can help with all those things. So you can either use it as needed, or you could use it 2-3 times a day. There really isn't a limit, and just put it like in your scalp and just kind of help that brain health and stimulation. You can also use it for headaches, like on sore muscles around your neck or your temples. Number 3 we're going to talk about is a blend as well called DDR Prime. So doTERRA can't really make medical claims. They have to be careful, but this is an oil that a lot of people use for cancer. But I think when you've been exposed to toxins, they're really mostly affecting you at that cellular level. And this helps for cellular integrity. It's antioxidants, brain health, immune response. Again, once you get oils into your hands, you can kind of see which ones you resonate with. And this is one that I just, as soon as I got it, I was like, oh my God, I need this oil. Like, it just felt really good. And this is one I like to just use on my my feet before bed. So here's some of the things that are in it. It's about to have a thunderstorm where I am, so I hope I don't lose my electricity. And number 4 is grapefruit. And these are in no particular order, by the way. It's just random. So grapefruit is a pretty powerful little oil. It moves lymph. It's good for lowering appetite and cravings. It's high in antioxidants, vitamin C, anti-candida, anti-mold, antibacterial. So this is one you could use in like a gut protocol or diffusing if you're cleaning out a moldy environment. We also develop molds in our guts and our noses, so that can help with that. Supports bile flow. That's really important for moving toxins out of the system, and supports hormone production. So a pretty amazing oil and a pretty affordable oil. So this one I do think is one you can take internally or also diffuse, or again, you could use it like on your belly for gut infections. And number 5 is rosemary. I really love rosemary. I didn't get into it as much, but it's a great thyroid oil. If you want to make a thyroid blend, you could use lemongrass, which is a hot oil, or actually technically it's a cold oil, but it feels hot. Rosemary and myrrh in a carrier oil on your thyroid is a simple recipe for thyroid health. Again, it goes well in a blend if you want to make a blend for a liver pack or brain health, and supports liver function, supports digestive health, and is high in antioxidants. Number 6 is a blend called Serenity. We talked about it earlier, and I decided to put it in the top 10 because when you're dealing with toxins, you're also often dealing with insomnia, and you really need your sleep when you're trying to detox. You often need more sleep, 9 or 10 hours a night, if you're dealing with a lot of toxicity. So you want to get a good night's sleep. So Serenity is going to help you lower cortisol levels really quickly and help anxiety in the daytime. So you can use it in daytime. You can use it for anxious kids, anxious moments, and then again at night for sleeping. I'll sometimes just put it on my wrist at night, and then I kind of sleep on my side so I can smell it. When you use these type of oils, if you really take the time to breathe deeply and inhale, it can work, kind of on a better level, so to speak, because that breathing will also calm your system. So this is one of my favorite oils. It's really special. It's very sweet and curly smelling, I guess you could say, but also super effective. Whoops, I skipped one again. Number 7, I decided to make Breathe on the list. It wasn't originally, but as I thought about it, it helped me so much when I was really sick. And I just took a class on brain inflammation. And one thing he really stresses is you need to get oxygen to your cells to detox. And if you're not getting it, you're going to be really inhibited. So if you're congested from histamines, from toxicity, which is really common, you might have this like low grade congestion, or what do they call it, postnasal drip, or you just might not be getting like circulation to your cells. We also detox through the breath, something we don't think about a lot and something I need to learn more about. So breathe oil isn't just for cold and flu season, it's also just for that antihistamine effect. If you have airborne allergies, that's another way. So living in Arizona now, and this past spring, I had super, super bad allergic asthma that I didn't expect. And it's, you're definitely not going to feel well if you can't breathe properly. And I think that I'm sort of having some of this reaction, partly because of where I'm at with my hormones and my age, but partly because of my immunocompromise from the mold. So I think that having a tool that helps you breathe is really important. Number 8 is Zendocrine. This is another blend, and it has the rosemary in it again. juniper. We're going to talk about this on the next slide, but these are all, frankly, heavy hitters for detox. They're really great. And this is the one that can help you with your hormones a bit. So let me go to the next slide. This is geranium, is my least favorite scent in the essential oils world. We all have something we don't like, but I've learned to like put up with a little geranium because it's so potent. So geranium, it's a lot of things, but it's an adrenal and hormone tonic. Tangerine is another monoterpene. Every oil has a lot of constituents, but tangerine is a citrus, so it has some of those monoterpenes. Moves the lymph, tonifies the blood. Cilantro is a well-known heavy metal mobilizer. Rosemary, we talked about, but it also supports phase 2 liver detox, supports DNA health. And juniper is a really powerful oil to activate detox pathways. And it also is good for urination. I hope you guys can hear me. Let me show you. There's like hail this big coming down outside right now. So I don't know if it's getting loud. A little excitement in the weather front. So this is a great one to use on the soles of your feet or to use in a pack, a castor oil pack or a heat pack. And you could also put it in a capsule. doTERRA does sell it as a capsule as well. If you're going to buy one detox oil, you may want to just do this one because it really does so many different things. Number 9 is DigestZen. So this one I put in a lot of protocols because it's an amazing digestive tonic. And if you're dealing with toxicity and inflammation, you're likely dealing with a gut issue. We kind of all are. We need to keep that gut integrity really strong. We need to keep inflammation down. We need to keep nutrients absorbing into us. And as we age, we make less enzymes and maybe less stomach acid, especially if we have a thyroid condition. So DigestZen has a little bit of everything to help you digest. You can use it, lick it, and as a digestive aid before you eat. If you don't like the taste, you can just put it on your stomach. There's kind of a lot of ways to use this one. So here's a few ideas. If you're dealing with a gut infection, you can also add oregano and frankincense and use that on your abdomen as a pretty gentle but effective way to deal with infections and biofilms in your gut. Let me make sure I didn't skip one. Okay, yeah, we're okay. And number 10 is Slim and Sassy. So Slim and Sassy, I'm giving away a sample of. You know, you can optionally add it to the order. Not everyone's trying to lose weight, so I didn't put it in the kit. However, I'm not trying to lose weight, but I do crave sugar after meals pretty hard. So using Slim and Sassy after a meal can help you with that craving. Using it before a meal can help you not eat it too much. You can see it has grapefruit, which we talked about is good for a lot of things like moving lymph and cravings. Lemon, we don't talk specifically about today, but it's great for detox, kind of similar to grapefruit. Peppermint, we talked about a little bit. It's good for cravings and kind of stimulating. And then it's got ginger, which goes for digestion and blood sugar. And cinnamon is a real star for blood sugar. So keeping your blood sugar balanced is important for any healing. You don't want to be going up and down all the time because then your body has to manage that. So if you do tend to, overeat on carbs or ice cream or whatever your vice is, this could help you kind of get over some of those cravings and become more even, which is really what your body wants. So the bonus product I wanted to add was Terrazyme. Terrazyme is a product from doTERRA that has digestive enzymes, herbs, and essential oils for digestion. And I just think it's really important because when we kind of have undigested food, we can have more bacterial imbalance, we're not getting our nutrients. And I've been in this field for like a long time. I've worked at a supplement store. This is my favorite product I've found. And I actually may carry it on a retail store just because it's so fantastic. So I wanted to mention it as if, you know, you want to add something for weight loss or indigestion. I think this product is phenomenal. You just take it with bigger meals, take 1 or 2. And then the bonus I probably should have put as an extra oil to learn about is On Guard. On Guard is doTERRA's immune system blend, but the oils that are in it with things like clove are really great for killing mold. So is it going to completely detoxify your house from mold? No. But if say you're in a house and you're doing some work in the house to clean it out or whatever, some remediation, you can diffuse that On Guard. You can also use it internally. So it's a blend that, you know, it's not going to say, oh, this is for mold, but that is just a little bonus oil to talk about. Is doTERRA's On Guard is a good product for mold. So actually, I think I'll take a little break. Let's see. No, I'll keep going and then we'll take questions at the end. So I wanted to offer a couple little kits today, and these actually can be modified, but just to make your life easier, I'll put these two links to these two pre-filled like shopping carts in the chat so you can purchase them. So the first one I decided to make into turmeric, grapefruit, and rosemary. So you guys have already learned about these. So turmeric is anti-inflammatory, it's good for gut health, good for brain health. Grapefruit is great for moving the lymph, for weight loss, can use it for cellulite even. Rosemary is good for the liver and the gut and the thyroid and the brain. So I just thought it was like a really nice kit that you can make into your own blend, or just have a little bit of everything, you know, kind of covered in the detox world. So here again are some things it does. Also, this helps with blood sugar, high in antioxidants. You can use it any of the ways. You can use it internally, diffuse it, inhale it, use it topically. Again, you can make just these 3 things into a little blend in your own little roller ball as a little detox oil, and it's pretty affordable. So you can get a membership and these 3 oils for $97 plus like a gazillion bonuses from us. So actually let me copy this link for you. I didn't have time to make like a fancy page, unfortunately, with all the kits, but I'll explain a little bit more about it. Again, if you already have a doTERRA account, you don't have to sign up with us. You already have an account, right? So you can just go in and be like, oh, I don't own turmeric yet. I want to go give it a try. But if you are starting out with us today, there are some bonuses you get no matter where you live, and then some bonuses you get just if you live in the US, because we can't unfortunately ship it anywhere. Some of these bonuses are brand new, so I don't have pictures of them yet, but we have a guide to weight loss and essential oils, a beginner's guide to essential oils, and 100 uses for essential oils. A lot of times people are just worried that they won't use them. And it's just a matter of education and having the resources and learning little by little. So we'll help you out with that. On that note, we also have a private Facebook group if you're on Facebook that's really active, and we have a Facebook training called Oil Camp that happens once a month that you can participate in. Probably the biggest bonus is you get a private consultation with me to talk about your case, whether you're dealing with Lyme disease or mold, or you don't know what you're dealing with, but you just want to talk about it. That's probably the most valuable part of these bonuses. And then if you are in the US, we have some additional guidebooks and samples we sent you. And if we can also send you, for the first 10 people who shop with us, a sample of Slim and Sassy, that weight loss blend. So here's a little bit more visuals on some of the books that come through the mail and some of the samples. And here's that Slim and Sassy again. Again, you don't have to need it for weight loss. You could just use it for balancing your blood sugar and not eating naughty things, basically. And that's a consultation with me, so you can be anywhere for that. It's online. And then built into that cost is the membership, which gets you 25% off everything for a year, and a really nice guidebook to get you started. So that's sort of doTERRA's model. It's sort of like the Costco model. You have a membership, every year the membership expires, but you also get a free oil. And so you pay $25 and get a free oil. So it's kind of like nothing every time you renew. So it's not too bad. And then as you keep learning with us, maybe you want to work on your hormones or help your kids, and then you pick up a few things as the year goes on. So the second kit is a big kit. Whoops, that right now there's a special going on with doTERRA. So I made a second kit, and I'll put this link in the notes, that has most of the oils we talked about today. A couple I left out, and then I put a carrier oil in. So carrier oil is nice to have to make your own blends, give yourself massages, that kind of a thing. This kit, I made it for $241. There's a reason you're going to learn about in a minute why it's that price point. But with the bonuses from doTERRA and the bonuses from me, it's actually almost a $480 product kit. So I'll show you a little bit more about that. Whoops. So first you're going to get, why are these going so fast? You'll get these 3 oils that we learned about on the first starter kit. And then you'll get, whoops, why do you keep doing that? All these other things. So you'll get the Motivate we talked about for brain health in a roller ball. So it's just a little thing you can keep in your purse or your bag and rub it on to you. You'll get this Zendocrine, which is really like a high-level detox blend. The DDR Prime, which is for cellular integrity. The Serenity that helps for sleep and stress. The Digestin, I think everyone needs for digestive health. And then you get a carrier oil. It's bigger than this, just to make, start using it and making little recipes at home or using it as a massage thing. So you get 9 oils that you're going to pay for, but then you're going to get 3 more oils that are part of doTERRA's special of the month. So these 3 oils right now, if you spend 200 points with doTERRA, and that was basically your $200 of oils plus your membership, you get these 3 oils for free. So you're getting 12 oils for $241. So it's a pretty good deal for the quality of these oils, and what's in some of these blends are really special. So you get this aroma touch massage kind of sore muscle blend that I mentioned earlier. You get this past tense, which is a headache rollerball. It's amazing. It's one of their best products. And you get this oil called Balance that I also mentioned earlier, which is a grounding, emotional, kind of hormone balancing, cortisol lowering blend. So all these oils are, I had it written down, it's like an $80 value that you get for free. So that's why I made the second kit kind of large, so that you could get more, get this bonus. You can actually, through these links I'll put out in the chat, edit your order. So if you're like, oh, I really need that Slim and Sassy now, you can add it. Or if you're like, I really hate the smell of whatever, you can take it out. You just have to keep in mind to reach a certain level if you want to get the monthly bonus from doTERRA. And if you are already a doTERRA customer, like Roxana, anyone who places a 200-point order this month can get these 3 free oils. So yeah, I love for people to attend who are already using oils, and just know, like, even if you're not going to get some of the enrollment specials, there's always different specials going on with doTERRA that you can take advantage of. So let me just go over that one more time, and then I'll take questions. And I'll pull these links for you so you can go look at it. So that's the second kit right there and what comes in it. And I know it's sort of a lot to take in right now, but I'll send you a follow-up email as well. Please know that this special is only US and Canada, even though doTERRA is in many, many countries. So you can be listening from New Zealand or Australia or wherever, and they have doTERRA, but their specials vary. So they will have some other special going on this month. I don't know what it is. I learned that the hard way, but just know that wherever country you're in, there'll be different specials, but US and Canada are always the same. Okay, let me stop the sharing and take some questions. I'd be happy to hear a little bit about something you're working with in particular, and the best I can. KM asked, can she use the carrier oil for ingestion? So no, it's not for ingestion. It's for external use and massage. Internally, if you're going to make a capsule, you don't need a carrier oil. You can just go straight into the capsule or straight into your mouth, which is how I do it. I just go from the bottle to my mouth. Nobody else is putting them in their mouth, so I don't mind. So carrier oil is just for massage, or either massage or making your own little blends. It's super easy to make your own blends. You just buy the empty bottles on Amazon, and you can buy the carrier oil from doTERRA or a health food store. And then in a little 10 milliliter roller ball, you can do like 20 to 30 drops usually of different oils, and then just top it off with a carrier oil. So you may want to use less for kids, but I would say I like my blends to be kind of strong, so I would do 20 or 30 drops total based on like everything that you put in there. Okay. Any other questions? Carlene said she's been using them for a few years, interested in detox and lymphatic drainage from brain and tonsils. So we talked a little bit about lymph today and a little bit about the brain. So I think rosemary and turmeric, peppermint, citrus are all really nice for the brain, and all the citruses seem to be good with draining the lymph. And again, like the juniper is good for drainage as well. Oh, I think you can see the hail behind me. So it's kind of fun. Oh, there it is. This is Oregon in June. Pretty funny. Any other questions? I definitely have time, so I'm happy to take more questions. And while you do that, I'm going to put a couple links in here in the chat. So here is kit number 1. It's just the small starter kit that's $97 with grapefruit, turmeric, and rosemary. And again, if there's some reason you wanted to change that, you can. You can add something, you can change something. It's fairly easy to get in there and understand it. And I do see people having success with that. But if you have any trouble with it, let me know. And then I'll put in kit number 2. And that's here. Please let me know if there's any trouble with those links. So those links will work in the US, and if you're outside of the country, you'll have to kind of populate the cart on your own. So you would just go to our main doTERRA page. I will put that in the chat as well. If you're out, is anybody outside the country watching right now? You just go to our main site and put in what country you're in, and then it will kind of process you from there. I can't get your... So KM is asking about capsules and how I think how you can get them from your past your small intestine into your gut, into your large intestine. They'll definitely get to your large intestine because there's been studies done on them breaking up biofilms and stuff. If you have trouble with capsules, just do them externally. Again, you can get 60% of the effect through the skin. I personally don't like to take a lot of capsules because I feel like they can give me heartburn. So I mostly don't take personally, I don't like them in capsules, and I'll just do them externally. If you want to do it a little stronger, you could put a castor oil pack or a hot washcloth on top. Dana is saying that she's an international crew member. I think you mean an airline crew member, Dana, exposed to toxic chemicals and insecticidal spraying. I'm in Australia. Okay, yeah. So I think the Zendocrine is really great for you, or do the Detox Starter Kit. Or maybe, yeah, maybe do just the Zendocrine and the DDR Prime and use those like every day. Another thing you can do for insecticide clearance is apple cider vinegar, either in a capsule, which is better for your teeth, I just learned, or as part of a drink. And then as far as chemicals, yeah, I think this Zendocrine is a really good blend for you. And you can, Dana, you can order any of these things in Australia. Occasionally the names will be different because there'll be like a patent or whatever in another country. So yeah, there's just different names, but you can kind of tell by the ingredients it's the same blend. So just be careful for that in different countries. Like Dana, I would just do something really regular. Make sure you're drinking lots of water, using a sauna, using a dry brush, doing castor oil packs. You can do coffee enemas, and then just use your oils really regularly, like medicine, so to speak. Oh, you guys, I'm sorry. I put these things in the chat and they didn't go to everybody. They went to like some other goofy thing. So let me fix it. But yeah, Dana, just take it seriously, and I'll hold on. That was for all countries. And just do things really regularly. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, so I'm fixing this because I put these in the chat, but it was like a private chat accidentally. So now I'm fixing it. So here's the 2 kits and then an extra link for if you live in other countries. So obviously, you guys, not to toot my own horn, but I know a lot more about functional medicine than most doTERRA advocates. So one of the advantages of coming and working on our team is you get to consult with me and then be part of our community. Kind of advanced uses of essential oils. So we're really talking about therapeutic uses for pretty particular conditions. We didn't talk too heavily about gut infections today, but that's an area that I can really help people in as well. We just last month did a webinar on hormones, which is an area I know a lot about with oils. So you may just want to start with a few oils and then talk to me and then order a few more oils, particularly for your condition. Oh, okay. Dana says she lives in Seattle. Okay. Yeah, so you can get everything in Seattle, Dana, but glad you're traveling. That sounds really great. Yeah, the airline industry, there's definitely a lot of exposure with the radiation and the jet fuel and stuff like that. So I think it's a really important thing to be aware of. I would probably do also, Dana, that DDR prime just to help your cellular integrity as you're exposed to radiation and that kind of thing, just to like protect your cells. Again, all these oils are going to do something for you. So, you can customize or just sort of have the whole kit and figure out what you like. Great. Well, we're getting to the end of the hour. And any more questions, you can put it here in the Q&A or just in the chat box. We have like 2 more minutes. I'm curious too, did people meet me on the DIY Summit recently? I see some new names. Or have you been following me for a while? What else would you like to see webinars on? I'm happy to help. And I apologize about the links. So I will also put those in a follow-up email. And again, the first 10 people I'll send a Slim & Sassy sample to. And as long as you're in the US, I'll send you some fun things. So Teresa just wants more info, or Therese wants more info like this. Yeah, I feel like I'm getting to know what you guys want so I can go a little deeper next time. This was the first time we've done a dedicated toxins talk. So Roxanne, I got some ideas for things to order. I think it's so important. Yeah, I still am learning new oils that I want to try out and just learn more and more. It's kind of addictive. Okay, Dana will follow up on the emails. Great. Well, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you being here. I know it's a little overwhelming with the kits and the bonuses, so I will send a follow-up email probably tonight, if not tomorrow. So if you missed any, come watch it again. I know it's like a lot of information, so you may want to watch again as well. All right, thanks everyone. Appreciate it. Have a great afternoon and evening. And by the way, these Slim & Sassy order specials will be available, I think, through Saturday. I'll have to double check. But definitely by the end of the month. And we don't like it to go right to the end of the month because that's when doTERRA bonuses end. So for it's like a lot of drama the last day of the month, it's too stressful. So the big bonuses with the 3 free oils, please order that sooner than later. Just in case there's a problem with your order, we don't want you to lose out on your bonuses. All right, thanks again, everybody.